Aloha, beautiful family. Bliss here to do a little sharing about active, inspired action. So, we've been going through a lot of collective transformation on the planet, and the energies have finally come to assist those who have been feeling a lot of heavy inertia, a lot of resistance to moving forward, a lot of resistance to claiming our role in the play as inspired leaders. A new energy has come, and so we're here to share a little bit about that today and to really encourage our human family to begin to rise up into our new roles on this planet. There is a new creation at hand, and sometimes it takes a little get up and go to get going, to step into our power. And so in this love stream, we're going to talk about why that is and what has been coming through the transmissions to help and assist the pod to rise up and get active, make our steps towards creating new systems on the planet. And so the new systems on the planet are systems that value all people as equal and that recognize that everyone has a role. And so there's a very different way that true new systems are going to arrive on the planet, and that is with love and tenderness at the center. And that doesn't mean that these are wishy-washy systems at all. There is something that the pod knows very well. It is the paw of the mother lion, which has tenacity. Mother lion has tenacity for her cubs, and that is the energy that is here and available on the planet and inside each one of us now as gravity begins to dissolve, as gravity and time begin to dissolve. So we just completed some really amazing collaborations last Miracle Week with our pod and the Kiro indigenous people who are cosmic shamans. And a lot of what we did in the Despacho ceremony with the Kiro elder and Ronnie, who was his translator in Peru, and in the one-on-one sessions was really assist each person to draw forth their cosmic energy and release the heaviness back to the earth. And so that's what's happening for a lot of us right now, which is why people are beginning to feel a new kind of energy inside of them. And so this new kind of energy sometimes needs a little bit of assistance and help, which is why collective collaboratives are key as containers to assist individuals to claim their cosmic roles. In the fictional fiction, in the Matrix, basically all of humanity was wounded. Humanity was clearing bloodlines and lineages of ancestral wounds. And so there was a lot of trauma in coming into a wounded species to clear out all of those ancestral wounds. And that's what humanity was doing for many miracle years. It's what the lockdown on the planet, the quarantine was really all about, was to push people deeper so that we could get a collective inertia going, so that enough of us could clean the distorted bloodline wounding patterns up, and we could restore the blood, because blood and water are basically the same thing. So we could restore the blood within us to wholeness, to stillness, clearing out the distorted patterns that were inherited through bloodlines and lineages. And so what happened for what we call a lot of star seeds in the world, let's just say star seeds are the imaginal cells in the caterpillar that hold the codes to create the new world. So a lot of people who have been holding these imaginal codes, the codes that will guide us forth, that have the shape of the butterfly and the systems of the new world, have been living in a fear dynamic at the level of the elemental body. Because if we were to talk about stories, when Atlantis fell, the elemental body fell as well. And so humans have been inside of physical bodies that have had, in the fictional fiction, fallen components that had to be resurrected as well. And so each person has been working to bring their higher consciousness back into the physical form. If this love stream is inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting. And to bring more of our expanded consciousness back into the physical form has been an internal process. So it's kind of like we have been working to restore ourselves from what you could compare to parasitic energy in the body. And so each person has had their own unique and individual role to make that happen, to bring more of their expanded consciousness into the body, which has required a lot of lifestyle changes, a lot of transformation in our personal lives, changing relationships, leaving relationships, quitting jobs, starting jobs. All this energy that is in flux and flow, it's finally ready to be crafted as a collective into something new and something more. And so what we are seeing in the pod is that this stagnant energy that has sat in the collective body of the collective starseeds is really ready to open. And what this requires on an individual level is kind of that extra internal fire that we bring to a new workout plan at the gym. Sometimes you just gotta push inside of yourself a little bit more. And that's what the transmissions have really been coaching the pod to do right now, is to really take a look in our lives where we have been compromising or settling for substandard, and making very discerning, powerful, potent choices in our lives to say no more. And to really become activated, because one of the things the guidance is sharing in the transmissions right now is that everybody has a gift to share in the world. And the new world that is being created through us is created through everybody bringing forth their gifts to the new world, to the new creation. So what are our gifts? Well, a lot of people know what their gifts are. They're things that they're interested in. They might be a little bit shy about. They might feel like they have no capacity as a professional to offer their services but they love, for example, crystal bowls, sound healing, using our voice, doing one-on-one sessions, as coaches, as emotional body coaches, as energy coaches, as intuitives, as artists, as the artists of our lives. And so we've really been having some communications, conversations, conscious conversations these days with the pod to step up to our own plates and give no energy to substandard or compromise anymore. There is clearly no external authority outside of ourselves that will create the new creation. As the Roman Empire fell, something new was coming forth, something else. And it is coming through all of us collectively. And so the message today is we just can't be afraid anymore. We can't be fearful. We must rely on the unification of our right and our left, our conscious, our subconscious, our masculine, our feminine, in its most greatest expression. Our masculine is great at creating structure. Our feminine fills that structure with consciousness itself. And so this is the energy that is abundant now on the planet. And one of the things we always encourage people is to really work in groups, containers, and pods so that we can have consistency. The pod that I'm currently with, many of the people have been with me in these transmissions for over 3 years now. And when the transmissions come through, we spontaneously show up. We have created for ourselves a container of consistency, a container that reflects growth, a container where our journeys can be expressed, a container that has developed a deep, deep sense of connection and love. And that is how the new systems, the true new systems, will form on the planet as humans, because they are in alignment with the principles of nature. And that is where we are returning our consciousness as well. So nothing can be forced. We are in a level of such cosmic synchronicity. Effort is no longer the way. Just breaking through the inertia, the fear that says, I'm just not good enough to be the greatest expression that I dream of. We just can't allow ourselves to say that anymore. This is the miracle alignment that is with us in these days, is to now recognize that we have leaped over so many hurdles. We've gone through these eclipse energies. We've gone through so many cosmic portals and windows in the last miracle month in time. And so this is really invitation. If someone is stuck in that little office cubicle, or feeling really different than the rest of your family and friends, but you know within you, this is what started me on my journey so many years ago. I loved my friends, I loved my family, I loved my life, and simultaneously there was this deep inner calling inside of me telling me there was something so much more, and that I had a role to play on a global, cosmic, galactic, celestial level. So I had to let go of things that were comfortable in my life, things that I was clinging to in my life. I had to release and let go and allow this greater spirit, this greater energy within me to guide me. And it took me on a journey of such profound synchronicity. And it transformed everything about my perception of life. You know, over the entrance to the Great Pyramid, the words say, they translate to know thyself. And that is the journey that we are on. And so back to that violent world in the fictional fiction that we have graduated our way out of ancestral wounding, of violence, of aggression, of survival of the fittest, of the pyramid, someone at the top and everyone else below. We are, and we have come out of that now. And so for the systems builders, for those who hold the miraculous codes of the new vision and the new creation, we need all of we global, cosmic, galactic, celestial, heart-centered leaders, self-empowered leaders, to step forward into our self-empowered roles, to offer our gifts. And as each one of us activates ourselves into our new roles, we create our flyers, we set up our websites, we do love streams, we buy our crystal bowls, whatever it is, we need all of our heart-centered leaders on the planet activating fully now. Because as we create our simple containers for people to find us, more of the collective will unlock. It's like it all works together simultaneously. So the system will be flooded with the amount of light that we can hold. So more of our collective family comes into its own awakening as our heart-centered, collective global leaders on the planet take responsibility now to do what is required, what we are being guided to do, to make our gifts known, to have our names available, our gifts and our resources available. That is now our role. So, excuse me, that requires inspired action. And my invitation today to our global heart-centered leaders on the planet who have gifts to offer, my invitation today is, can we all say no more excuses? No more excuses for our stories of lack. The guidance is saying, if someone is experiencing lack consciousness, or lack in their life, or lack in their bank account, it is because they're not going forward and sharing their gifts, or they are undervaluing themselves. So we need to step forward and share our gifts and value our gifts. And as we are transcending out of financial systems and all these things, there's cosmic leaps and there's steps by meticulous step. The big message in all of this is there is nothing left to fear, because the elemental fear body has been cleared by some of us on the planet who have done that work for the collective human form. The elemental fear body inside of the physical form, just like a parasite, was the one that was sending the messages of fear to the mind. And so as we learn coherence, which we Bliss loves to share all the time, cross your ankles, clasp your hands, cross your wrists, close your eyes and deep breathe if you feel stressed, because that unifies the hemispheres of the mind. And when we find that coherence, that elemental, that fallen elemental body, that fear body, has been cleared out of the collective. And so we feel lighter, the gravity of the density of life and the unbalanced emotional body. The mental and emotional body were unbalanced and not unified. So we had a lot of emotional starseeds who didn't know how to create containers to reel it in. A lot of disempowered victimization consciousness running through the collective body of those of us who have come in to bring new gifts, new perceptions, new ways of seeing things. to the planet and to the collective itself. If this love stream is inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting. There's a share button right there. So now we have these incredibly powerful energies, clarity, precision, awareness is starting to flow. And what do we do with all the clarity, precision, awareness? We let all the distractions fall away. We become discerning with our energy. Our guidance tells us the simple, inspired actions to take, step by meticulous step, or now cosmic leaping, because the field is very holographic and receptive in every way. So we want to add in our meditations. We want to have a body practice that keeps that all unified and aligning and expanding. And speak to the cosmos directly when we are in coherence. To ask. Ask for guidance. Ask for assistance. Ask for the resources, whatever the resources are. Ask for the communities. Ask for the collaborative friendships. Ask for the synchronicities, and then be open and receptive to allow completely new energies to come in. And this might be guiding us right now to make big shifts. Big shifts. And that's okay, because it's all becoming easier in every way. I am starting a mentorship program on the 29th of May. If you want to know more about that, sign up to the email list. I put a link down there today. And also, if you want to follow Unity Transmissions on YouTube, we have a link there. Please subscribe. We're up to like 780 something subscribers. I think 1,000 is where our first goal. So if you love these love streams, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. And there's the Patreon, or the podcast down there as well. Yeah, I'm starting a mentorship program, and it's really for serious people. When I say serious, I mean people who are organized and have their container together. They have their vision together. They're not living in lack consciousness. My mentorship program is not for those in lack consciousness. It is for people ready to take their container to the next level. Because I can no longer meet people in substandard or lack. That's one of the messages from the transmission. There's many global leaders on the planet who have been stewarding the masses in a way to be supportive in coherence so that people could transcend the internal wounding, the ancestral wounding, in such a way that we can be here now, fully present, excited, inspired to create our world, and to know that we have broken down the limitations that interfered with our capacity to access cosmic energy. So when we have access to cosmic energy, being coherent is key in creating our world. Coherent to witnessing any patterns that may rise up that we do not give our consent to. This is an inside job. And we are now in this beautiful window of transformed energy that is ripe and ready. No one is coming to do this for we. It all comes from within us, drawing on our cosmic energy, our expanded consciousness, and bringing it into our physical form. So simple containers allow magic to flow. There are many heart-centered leaders on this planet who hold incredible gifts. And the old world, the old Roman Empire that is falling, does not hold the instruction kit for the new creation. It's very important. The old world that is falling away does not hold the instruction kit for the new creation. It's inside of us. So we've learned to open our hearts so that we can access that library. We can access that Akash within us. And the new creation is collaboration by heart-centered leaders who all move cosmically together as one, empowered, inspired. No more lack consciousness from our collective star seed family. It's #done. And so that means that if we choose to be part of the new creation, no one does it for us. We do it from within ourselves. That's what the mentorship program starting on the 29th of May is all about. And that's my call out. And I am offering to work with a small container of self-empowered, self-inspired leaders who are ready to go global and cosmic with their gifts and their creations. Because that is my inspiration for the embodiment of these beautiful codes that reside within all of us, of a beautiful, harmonious world, free of borders, free of boundaries, free of taxes, free of passports. Gaia did not divide herself up. The Roman Empire did, and all of that has to go. And it is, the Ouroboros is eating its own tail. So for those of us who embody the new consciousness, it is for us to be inspired in our actions and our creations. No more excuses. Excuses, bye-bye, done. All had to go to make it through these portals and gateways. So now the energy is flowing. What do we do with it? If you're inspired to be part of the mentorship program, please join the mailing list, the link is there. And I will be sending out more information on that into the mailing list. Also, leave your comments here. We are free of the gravity that has held us all back. And time dissolved. And those are the two things that have to go in the 60th gene. That when it ignites in multiple beings is the end of the world as we know it, according to Richard Rudd and the Gene Keys. So we are at that miracle coordinate. Let's do this. Share our gifts collectively in ways that they are accessible. For all life. When we honor our gifts by creating simple containers, the universe allows that magic to flow. Creating simple containers, websites, mail outs, love streams, sharing our voices, community outreach, local presentations. Never feel like your gift is too small. Never feel like your gift is too small. It's not. It's about inspired action with our gifts. Not just sharing them at the grocery store in the lineup, but inspired action to create simple containers. For that magic to flow, for the system of the multitudes to be activated simultaneous by so many people becoming activated to create simple containers to share their gifts. That's what wakes the collective consciousness up. There's probably one final piece to share here because it's coming to my awareness now, is that many miracle years ago, when I started going to Joe Dispenza events, one of the first ones I was at was in 2010 or 2011. And Joe showed a series of little short videos, maybe 3 to 5 minutes long. And it was these people doing inspired things on the planet who had created simple containers with their gifts and their inspiration. They didn't just kind of let it like, what's the word? They created simple containers, simply what we're sharing. So in the video, there was a woman who started doing paintings for families of people who had lost their veterans to war. She started getting their pictures of their loved ones and doing these paintings and sending them to the people. There was a person who lived in an inner city ghetto and started a tree planting program and got everyone involved. There was a child that was inspired to help animals, and so the child got inspired in school, and what the child did grew and grew. There was so many different little 3 to 5 minute videos of people who took the inspiration and turned it into something. by creating simple containers so that others could be a part of it with them. And basically it created community where others could find their way to inspired action as well. And when I saw this roll of movies, I cried the whole time because I knew my life was about to change in that moment and that I could play small no longer. I knew that I had incredible gifts to share and that it was my miracle in time to make the transformation out of my old life and begin to create simple containers to make that shift and transformation in my life so that my new gifts or my gifts could be shared in a new way and others could find me. And I started a thriving healing practice. And it led me to traveling the world, working the grids and ley lines, doing ceremonies with the indigenous all over the planet, going into the financial world, bringing transformation in consciousness, going on a 13-part science fiction adventure because I created simple containers that assisted me to make that transition. And I stopped accepting excuses inside of why I couldn't do that, why I couldn't make the shift. So on a global, cosmic, galactic level, this is the miracle in time for our expanded, heart-centered, self-empowered leaders on the planet to create simple containers so others can find your gifts. We did this inside of the pod. The pod was intimidated to share their gifts, so we started sharing the gifts inside of the pod, sharing sessions. The pod began to realize their gifts are not only welcomed, but that they make a difference. And when we get that feedback, we get a sense of satisfaction and knowing that we're doing the right thing. And we see the transformation that comes from us stepping into our highest joy, which is to share our gifts. Everyone wants to know, what is my purpose and how do I fit in? Most of us know what our gifts are. If you don't know what your gifts are yet, keep meditating and asking for guidance. Once we know what our gifts are, make them accessible to others through creating simple containers for people to find us together. This will uplift our collective family now. The energies are flowing. We love we so much. Details for the mentorship program, add yourself to the mailing list. Please join the Unity Transmissions YouTube page and subscribe if you're interested to follow these love streams on YouTube or share them out with friends who aren't on Facebook. Such a great moment for all of life. So if you feel a little lost and you're not sure how to get on board or find your coherence, start by sharing your gifts. Don't be shy. Nothing to be afraid of. No external authority outside of ourselves that will do this or that is real or exists. Every single human on the planet and all life is in equal flux and transformation. birdies agree. We love we so much. This love stream is inspiring. Please share it. That's called gifting. Thank you for tuning in. Aloha.